welcome to our daily YouTube session. Today we will discuss the issue with respect to environment, and that may be very significant for your prelims examination. The topic says basically there is a tribe in Arunachal Pradesh that is known by the name of Idu Mishmis, which is protesting against the tiger reserves in Arunachal Pradesh. So from this headline only you can understand that what type of question can be asked with respect to your prelims examination. For example, I may just ask you with respect to match the following, that Mishmi tribe resides in Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, etc. Then second question with respect to your prelims examination can be asked with respect to that, what are tiger reserves. Okay, so we need to understand that basically first of all, who are Idu Mishmis, what is a tiger reserve and why they are protesting. So let's continue. First of all, let us see what is the issue at hand. So first of all, the issue is that there is a body that is known by the name of NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority. It has said that Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary in Arunachal Pradesh would soon be notified as a tiger reserve. Just remember that first of all, this is also important for your prelims examination, that wildlife sanctuary, there is a wildlife sanctuary, Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary, that is in Arunachal Pradesh. First thing, now it is to be converted into what is known as a tiger reserve, and this is from where the issue has arisen with respect to this transformation of a wildlife sanctuary into a tiger reserve. One a home task also for you, basically with respect to your prelims examination. We will be discussing what are tiger reserves, but also try to find out that what is the difference between national park and wildlife sanctuary. Wildlife sanctuary, okay, which is heavily restricted, which is moderately restricted, what is the objective of national park, what is basically objective of wildlife sanctuary. Is wildlife sanctuary only for one species or national park is only for the one species? Which of them is basically for the protection of whole ecosystem, flora, fauna and everything? Just try to find it out, okay, that may be helpful with respect to your prelims examination. So here the NTCA basically has said that Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary in Arunachal Pradesh would be notified as a tiger reserve, and due to this announcement a disquiet basically or a protest has happened in Idu Mishmi people, who feel that basically declaring Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary as a tiger reserve would hinder their access to their forest, because obviously they are tribes and some of them are forest tribes also. So because of their habitat they may lose access to their forests, and they have a unique cultural relationship with forests, particularly with the tigers. So that is why they have been protesting. So first of all, let us see who are Idu Mishmis. Just give me a second. So who are Idu Mishmis? Basically Idu Mishmi is a sub tribe of larger Mishmi group. Okay, there is a tribe that is known basically in Arunachal Pradesh that is called as Mishmis, and there are sub tribes in that Mishmi group. One is known by Idu Mishmi, other are basically Digaru and Miju, and they are basically prevalent in Arunachal Pradesh and the neighboring Tibet area. Okay, so what are they known for? They are known for their weaving and craftsman skills. The Idu Mishmis primarily live in Mishmi hills bordering Tibet. Okay, so just try to find out where are, this is also a home task for you, just try to find out the location of the Mishmi hills, whether for example if this is the northeast portion, okay, and this is Arunachal Pradesh, this is Nagaland. So try to find out where are Mishmi hills located. Okay, then their ancestral homelands are spread over the districts of Dibang Valley and Lower Dibang Valley, as well as the parts of Upper Siang and Lohit. Okay, Siang, Lohit, you must basically you be synonymous with the names, because they are, or these are also the tributaries of Brahmaputra river. You must have studied it in your geography classes. Then what is their unique relationship? Basically because they follow animistic religion, okay, because of their ancient old religion that is known as animistic religion. Edo-Mishmis, they have a very basically special relationship with tigers, whom they call themselves as elder brothers. Because of their mythology, basically they were born to the, it is considered that they were born to the same mother. So that is why they are considered as the elder brothers, and this is why basically some resistance has also cropped up, because according to their mythology or any mystic religion, okay, they give basically special preference to tigers, okay, consider themselves as brothers. That is why they prohibit the killing of tiger basically or other animals living in that areas, and thus help promote conservation and preservation of these animals that are known as tiger. And this is a unique model of wildlife conservation and preservation, where tribe is specifically involved in the conservation of tigers, and they have also declared a part of forests as community reserve, because they, for them basically tigers are sacred. So that is why basically they have already been involved in tiger conservation and preservation. So because of their involvement, it is considered that, or the voices that have risen against this move, they are basically specifically that when we are already involved in conservation and preservation of tigers, we basically strictly prohibit the killing of tigers and considers themselves as our elder brothers. So what is the need of declaring wildlife sanctuary as tiger reserve? Because the criticism also crops up from the point that this move or this basically conservation preservation is seen only from the environmental logic, but not from the livelihood scenario, where this Edo-Mishmi tribe is specifically dependent on their forests for livelihood. So rather than only ecological, economic aspect of such things should also be taken into consideration. So moving forward, just give me a second. Then why the protests are occurring with respect to this move? Because in its current form as a wildlife sanctuary, the community's access to the Dibang forests has not been impacted. It means, I already told you to basically do what is the difference between national park and wildlife sanctuary. From so this point you can basically make an observation that wildlife sanctuaries allow access to forests, whereas for your information it is heavily restricted in case of national parks. So as such basically their livelihood was not impacted because they had unhindered access to the forest. So that is why basically when Dibang area or forests were transformed into wildlife sanctuary, there were no major protests. Then but many say a tiger reserve would increasingly restrict their access to the forest. When there will be restriction to the forest area, obviously we have learned that their livelihood would be impacted because they are dependent upon forests. Further, they state that a tiger reserve, when the Dibang wildlife sanctuary will be transformed into a tiger reserve, a special security force, that is special tiger protection force, will be created, which would be guarding the area at times. And when the basically force will be guarding the area, they would be cut off to the access to the forest lands. They fear that basically force will not allow them to have access to their own forests. Further, some members of the community also claim that the Dibang wildlife sanctuary was also created without people's consent or knowledge. They were not taken into confidence when Dibang forests were basically transformed into Dibang wildlife sanctuary, and now when they are transformed into tiger reserve, basically their voices are not also represented this time also. Moving forward, we also need to know basically what is a tiger reserve. Okay, this may be specifically asked with respect to your prelims examination. See, what is tiger reserve? It is, first of all, it is a protected area. Second thing, it is statutorily designated for the conservation of the striped big cats that are tigers, okay, which is referred to as a tiger reserve. First point, what you need to basically remember in this definition is that they are statutorily designated. Second thing, a tiger reserve may be a national park or a wildlife sanctuary. Okay, it is not specific that basically an area should be a national park or only a wildlife sanctuary. Whether it is a national park or it is a wildlife sanctuary, both of them can be granted a status of tiger reserve, such as for example Sariska Tiger Reserve is a national park. It is because the place was originally created as a national park and then later it was designated as a tiger reserve also. But the next thing you need to remember here is, it is not to say that all tiger reserves have to be a sanctuary or a national park. Okay, a national park, just remember this thing, that a national park or a wildlife sanctuary can be designated as a tiger reserve, but it is not necessary that any forest should necessarily be a tiger reserve, should necessarily be a national park or a wildlife sanctuary to be declared as a tiger reserve. If any area does not have a designation of a national park or tiger reserve, then also that area can be basically given the designation of a tiger reserve. Basically, for example, you have example in this context is, that is Toba Andari is a such one tiger reserve in this context. Second thing you need to remember. Third thing you need to remember is, they are administered or declared or looked after by, that is a body that is known by the name of National Tiger Conservation Authority. So what you need to know, first of all, they are statutorily designated. Second thing, they are looked after or declared by NTCA. Third thing, any national park or wildlife sanctuary can be declared as a tiger reserve. Fourth thing, it is not necessary for any area to be first designated as a national park or a wildlife sanctuary. Even if any area does not have any of one of the designations, then also the area can be basically given the designation of a tiger reserve. Moving forward to your question with respect to this thing, that type of question that can be asked by the UPSC, you have to choose the correct among the following. There is Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary, basically in Andhra Pradesh it is written. Next is a Dampa Tiger Reserve, that is in Tripura. Next one is Nameri Tiger Reserve, again in Assam. You have to choose the correct one, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, or all of the above. Now we have already basically seen in our slides that Dibang Wildlife Sanctuary is in Arunachal Pradesh. So one is true. You can narrow it down that 1 and 3, maybe one of the options I can cut out the B1 or D may be the option. Now Dampa Tiger Reserve, it is a basically correct match, that Dampa Tiger Reserve is in Tripura and Nameri Tiger Reserve is in Assam. So in this context, all of the above is the answer. Okay, so try to revise basically the tiger reserves, if not all, at least the major ones of them, so that if anything is asked with respect to the revision, or sorry, with respect to the prelims examination, so that you can remember the major ones and can eliminate the options. So that will be all from my side. Thank you.